Do you want to experience the thrill of a Packers game at Lambeau Field? If so, be sure to get your game tickets from the longtime trusted source in Wisconsin, Ticket King. Visit their locations in Milwaukee and Green Bay, or just go to their website, theticketking.com. Again, that's theticketking.com.
And now, for fans of the 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers, this is Cheesehead TV Live.
Cheetahs don't stretch, and neither do we.
I think you're an idiot, and I mean that with the most respect possible that I can give to an idiot.
Packers Hall of Fame quarterback Jay Cutler.
It's not as fun to say as Equanimous.
That is a perfect example of a wrong opinion. Ring the bell. Welcome back, Packers fans. What is up? It is opening day, opening night. Lambeau Field. We're going to kick this thing off. Kick is in about an hour. This is Jason Perone of Cheesehead TV along with Jeremy Vanderlinden.
That's right.
A little special edition of Cheesehead TV Live, game day. And we just got the inactive list. So no big surprises on there, maybe except for one. One of the rookie wide receivers is out. Jeremy, you had the list.
Jamon Moore. So Jamon Moore is out. Let me go over the list. I'll pull that back up. Yeah, so Jamon Moore is out, and I think that's interesting because of that means Equanimous is active. And honestly, I didn't think that would happen. I thought Jamon would get the nod over Equanimous, if anything. So here's the list. Tim Boyle, Trevor Davis, Josh Jones, Raven Green, Oren Burks, Alex Light, and Jamon Moore. A couple problems on that list that I see, and we'll go over that a little bit as we get into offense and defense. I think the Packers are as healthy as they've ever been going into a season.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it's a new era, new attitude. So we've got a bunch of new faces, and the most important thing is the new coordinators. You've got Joe Philbin back as the offensive coordinator, and he's going to help kind of keep Mike McCarthy in check on those 3rd and 1s. We're not going to have any fullback dives because there is no fullback on this roster anymore.
Right.
That's what Mercedes Lewis is for. He's going to be trucking fools.
Right.
On the line there as our blocking tight end. Jimmy Graham, new addition to the Packers offense, is going to be a disaster for defenses in the red zone. And I look for Rodgers to find him early tonight because they had great chemistry in the little bit they played in the preseason. But those two are going to be, as long as they're healthy, those two are going to be the oil that makes the engine go.
That's right. Give it up if you're excited for Jimmy Graham. Because, dude, seriously, Jimmy Graham's a Green Bay Packer. And how ridiculous is that?
We got a couple Bear fans in the house. Give it up if you're excited for Khalil Mack.
One.
There we go. One vote.
The other Bears fan's busy ordering his cheese curds.
Too busy. Yeah, he's ordering cheese curds. So what does that tell you right there? You know
that he wants to be a Wisconsinite. Like, where do Bears fans go in the summer? Where do Chicago people go in the summer?
Up to Wisconsin.
They drive straight up 43 to Wisconsin. They're always trying to make their way up north. Bears fans just wish. They wish they were Packers fans.
They're going up. They're going up to the lake.
That's
All
right.
right, so Lambeau Field went in Rome, right? So get your cheese curds going on for sure. We're going to have some drink specials and specials going on here at the Watershed in Tempe.
That's right.
Thank you,
$3 Wisconsin beers. The cheese curds are delicious, so make sure you try those. And if you're listening online and you're in the Phoenix area and you're not at the Watershed in Tempe, Arizona, you're in the wrong place, and you need to be here. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. So, Jason, a lot of things happen in the offseason. But let's break it down. Let's get into this first with the offense.
Offense. Rodgers does this better than anybody. End zone. Cobb. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
But it is so very believable because obviously the offense of the Packers starts and finishes with the arm of Aaron Rodgers. The King is back. The greatest quarterback of all time will be on the field tonight.
That's right.
For those of you who are confused and think that's Mitchell Trubisky, you are in the wrong bar. So Aaron Rodgers is back and he's healthy for the first time in almost a year. It's been a long time coming. So he's looking good in pregame warmups. He said all the right things this offseason. He sees his opportunity as now to get out and get it done. And the Packers start their quest for their 14th championship this season. And so Aaron Rodgers obviously going to run that offense and largely take control at the line of scrimmage. But in the passing game, the Packers didn't keep 7 wide receivers for no reason. Actually, it was 8 until they unfortunately had to put local sensation Jay Coomer on injured reserve. So 7 wide receivers. We know Jamon Moore won't be out there tonight, but Equinemius St. Brown and Marquez Valdez-Scantling as rookies will be out there. It'll be interesting to see how they get integrated. But like I said, this passing game is going to start with Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Graham. Call it a triangle. I don't know. Make up some sort of moniker. But that's, Jeremy, that's kind of how I see this whole thing playing off. And we haven't even gotten to the running games. Jamal Williams will start. Aaron Jones suspended the first 2 weeks.
That's right.
So Jamal Williams and Ty Montgomery, as long as Montgomery stays healthy, he'll be playing. And so hopefully that lasts beyond tonight. But that's kind of what we're looking at. But the big story has been the offensive line. And obviously the 5 starters are great when they play together. But there were some questions about the backups and the depth behind the offensive line. That's going to be a big key, is how healthy are they, will they stay, and can they stay this season?
Yeah, you know what? Let's bounce back to Aaron Rodgers real quick, because we do have a question in the chat. How long until Aaron Rodgers gets sacked by Mac?
When do they play the second time? Don't they play in like November? When's the first matchup next year? I think that's probably when it'll be.
That's a solid answer. I'm actually going to say it's going to be this is the way it's going to go. It's going to be really quick. It's going to be really early in the game. Mac gets 1 sack, but he ends the game with 1 sack. And early on, Packers Twitter loses their collective mind because, oh my God, the Khalil Mack train has arrived.
And if he beats David Bakhtiari, it's like triple.
That's not good. David Bakhtiari is one of the best tackles in the league. I don't think it's going that side. If he beats anybody, it's going to be Brian Bulaga. It's going to be Brian Bulaga. So Khalil Mack, to get that first sack, he's going to have to do it through Brian Bulaga. I think it's going to happen early. I think Packers fans are going to lose their minds, and then Khalil Mack's going to get shut down. We won't even think about it.
Here's the thing. Let's remember something. He's a great player, yes, but he has not played at all. He's not practiced. The first time he put pads on at all this season was a week ago. So he's going to be on a pitch count. He's not going to be playing very much.
25, 30 snaps. That's it.
He'll play. He may be a factor, and that's fine. But I don't think Khalil Mack is the key to what the Bears are going to be looking to do on defense. It's Vic Fangio is back in the fold. He's had success against Aaron Rodgers in the past. He's going to bring pressure from some unexpected places. The Bears' corners are pretty good. You got Prince Amukamara and Kyle Fuller, who was almost a Packer this past offseason, holding down at the corners. The safety positions are, they're okay. I think that's where Aaron Rodgers makes his bread.
Let me break down what I think the Packers are going to do, or what they should do late in the game to counteract Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's going to come in on key downs. He's going to come in for obvious passing situations. And in those moments, if I'm the Packers and I see, okay, we're second and whatever, like let's say it comes to third down, it's like 3rd and 5. We're going no huddle immediately, going no huddle. Because if Khalil Mack's not on the field and you just got it to 3rd and 5, don't even let him get on the field. You hit no huddle and you keep the guy off the field. I think the Packers are going to be smart about this. They're going to be looking for Mack and where he is, and if he's not on the field, they're going to be running that hurry-up offense. Because let's talk about what they can do with the personnel that they brought in this offseason. Jimmy Graham is great, yes, but Mercedes Lewis being on this team is huge, and the flexibility that he brings. Mercedes Lewis is going to be awesome as a tight end. It's going to be really nice to have him. He's a blocking tight end. But the thing that they can do with him is play him in the H-back position, which means he can motion into the backfield and play some of that lead blocker, that fullback position.
Mercedes Lewis can still catch a football,
too. Yeah, he can do that, too.
He's savvy enough to get open and catch the ball. In the red zone, you got Mercedes Lewis, you got Jimmy Graham. That's like 15 feet of human being right there.
So I think you go two tight end sets an awful lot tonight. You're going to see them do 2 tight end sets, and when they bring those guys out, we're going to start seeing them run a little no huddle, because they can run almost anything in the playbook with those 2 guys on the field. Because they're not just Mercedes Lewis isn't just a tight end. He plays 2 positions, and especially with guys like Ty Montgomery. Now, everybody's got a lot of things to say about Ty because he's not been able to stay healthy, but Ty Montgomery is so multiple that when he's on the field, too, you can spread it out 5 wide with Mercedes Lewis and Jimmy Graham on the field and Ty Montgomery at running back. There's plenty the Packers are going to be able to do because of the personnel that they have.
And you've got a laser-focused quarterback with a very accurate arm.
That's right.
So he's going to get the ball to the right guy.
With the flexibility that they have with personnel, they're going to be able to counteract Khalil Mack in key moments of the game by just going no huddle.
But even it was encouraging today to watch some of the early games, because one of the concerns we have is, are they going to get those free plays that they've been getting? Because it sounds like the unabated to the quarterback now, the refs are watching for that. So if the defensive player jumps off sides, and if he starts motioning towards the quarterback, the play gets blown dead. Instead of having a free play like they've had in the past, it looks like could be 50-50, but you know what I think? If you're opposing defensive coordinator, you've got to be coaching your player. If you jump, don't jump. But if you do, go all out towards the quarterback and get that whistle blown.
Because
you give a free play to Aaron Rodgers, just chalk up 6 points.
Peter Bukowski broke this down on his podcast, Locked On Packers, this week. because there was a lot of panic about the Packers losing free plays because Aaron Rodgers, he loves those and he's always looking for the chance. That's not it's not necessarily so definitive that, there's no more free plays. If a guy jumps off sides and then starts to jump back to the defensive side of the ball and then the ball is snapped while he's still in the middle, while he's still off sides, they're going to let those plays go. So Rodgers is still going to get his shot at those free plays, and it's just like you said, if you're the defensive coordinator and a guy goes offside, I'm telling him, go. Just go. Don't stop. Go. Don't second guess it. If you decide to go full tilt. Get after it.
Yeah, you don't want to give Aaron Rodgers any more chances than you have to if you're an opposing defense. If you're a Packers fan, then you want him to have 6 downs instead of 4.
We do have another question on the chat. Lewis asks if the Packers should bring back Jarius Wynn. I know he's joking. That's got to be a joke. That can't be serious. No, he's not serious. He can't be. I refuse to believe anybody would be serious with that kind of question.
Those are the kind of things. Those are the kind of things we get. It must be football season because we're starting to get these funny questions now.
Right.
In the chat. So offensively, obviously the offensive line's got to hold up front, and that Bears defense is going to bring some pressure. They can do it very well. Fangio's a good defensive coordinator, so he's going to make some things happen.
Right.
We have a question here. Will not having Trevor Davis playing cause the special teams to suffer? Only if you're looking for the punt returner to field the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no. Our special teams will get a boost here. Jair Alexander's listed as second on the depth chart as a punt returner. So we'll get an early look at him as a returner, see what he can do.
Yep.
I can tell you right now, if he has a good night tonight, the job is his. He's not giving it back.
Right.
And what the Packers do when Aaron Jones comes back, that Trevor Davis could be a part of that equation.
While we're talking about Trevor Davis, we actually had a Twitter question about him. We were asked why he's even on the team. So I think if Jair Alexander has a good night as a punt returner and Ty Montgomery can fill in that kick returner role, why is he on the team? That was from Brett Smith at not B-roll on Twitter. He asked why Trevor Davis is still here. Why is he still here?
Knowledge of the offense, depth. It's what Mike McCarthy does, and I know Brian Gutekunst had a lot to say about who made this roster. There's some experience there. Again, it's a special teams contributor, so that's my only guess there. I mean, Davis, obviously, you've got 3 young wide receivers, and it can probably only be because they don't know what they have in some of those young guys. Anthony asked, T.J. Watt had 4 sacks today. Thoughts? My thoughts are congratulations to T.J. Watt. Next question.
Wait,
Trevor Davis is out with a hamstring. Okay,
can we talk about T.J. Watt for a second? Can everybody chill the hell out on T.J. Watt? Kevin King is still on the Packers roster, and we're not talking about T.J. Watt compared to Vince the Puppy Beagle. We're talking about T.J. Watt compared to Kevin King as a football player. Kevin King still has a chance to be a really good football player. So why is everybody so concerned that they missed on T.J. Watt?
Well, because they don't have a pass rush.
Right.
This is what I'm quoting the fan base. There's no pass rush, and you've only got 4 outside linebackers, one of which is Kyler Fackrell. You didn't get Khalil Mack, so they royally screwed up this outside linebacker and pass rush situation. But you got to give it a couple games here to see what Mike Pettine's going to do and where he's going to bring pressure from. It's not going to come from the obvious places. It's not going to be all about 2 outside linebackers crashing in on the quarterback anymore. I think those days are past us.
Yep.
That's why Dom Capers isn't the defensive coordinator anymore.
Yep, we'll be getting into that when we get to the defense. T.J. Watt has more interceptions than Kenny King, apparently, because he was a Badger. Jersey Ale chiming in on the chat. That is the official answer. The only reason people are so bent out of shape and have wedgies is because they're mad that the Green Bay Packers didn't draft a Badger. Can we just chill on it? I like T.J. Watt too, but it's not important to me that a Badger is not on the roster, and that shouldn't be that important to anyone else. My prediction, Jimmy Graham is going to be a monster tonight.
Jimmy Graham's going to make everybody forget about T.J. Watt. Fine. If you want to go cross position, fine. Jimmy Graham will make everybody forget about T.J. Watt.
That's right.
But we won't have to think about that or worry about that.
Listen, I think Jimmy Graham has 2 touchdowns tonight.
Do you think Bulaga can hold up for the full game tonight? He better. He's got to. If he doesn't, we're in trouble. The backup tackle situation, and we've heard it ad nauseum. Those of you who listen to a lot of the podcasts and analysis on the Packers offensive line, listen, these guys are backups for a reason because they're not starters. So it'd be great if we had 4 starting tackles and we could just plug somebody in if Bulaga does get hurt. But the reality is it's Jason Spriggs, And if Bulaga gets hurt, we have to hope that Spriggs comes in and can hold up there. Now, obviously, they're going to be smart about it. They're going to use Mercedes Lewis to help chip and help block on that right side. And then you've also got Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams started improving in pass protection, too, at the end of last season. Maybe, the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2010. One of the things we saw a lot of when they had Tom Crabtree and Andrew Corliss was that loaded backfield with 2 tight ends and a running back. Bring it back if you have to. I mean,
right.
the Packers will be smart about it. Joe Philbin's back, so expect the protection to be on point.
I do want to go back here in the chat because Packer Paul messaged us right before we started the show and asked if Mike Daniels would get any snaps for short yardage at fullback.
Oh, the old B.J. Raji.
The old
B.J. Raji formation.
Another Bears fan just showed up to ruin the party. Man, who's bringing these Bears fans? You have to disown your children when they start wearing Bears jerseys. As soon as they put that on, they're not your kids anymore. They're somebody else's. Put them up for adoption.
Where's the Mac jersey? Come on, sport the jersey, man. It's been out for a whole week. You don't have it already?
Oh, Urlacher jersey.
Okay.
The Bears still suck.
Urlacher.
The Bears still suck.
Yeah.
The Bears still. Hold on, wait a minute. I got this. The Bears do still suck.
The Bears still suck.
There you go. I would love to see Mike Daniels get some short yardage snaps as a fullback. And I know that it could turn out like a complete train wreck, but I'd like to see him get the ball as a fullback and score a touchdown. Anytime a fat guy scores a touchdown is a happy time. That's a good day.
Don't you think Mike Daniels lining up in an offensive formation might be what we call in the police and detective business a clue? I don't know how surprising it would be that he would be getting the ball.
You don't have to go near him with the ball.
So you want to beat the Bears with the Fridge Perry thing 35 years later?
Yeah, but they already did that with B.J. Raji. So, it'd just be doing it again.
The freezer. B.J. Raji.
The freezer.
Spinning it, hula hooping in the end zone after the pick six in the NFC Championship game. Who will ever forget that?
Oh, that's great.
One of the greatest plays in Packers history. So the quest begins tonight. So what else we got on offense?
So let's try to stick to offense with this question. What is it that we don't know about that the Bears have that caused the most concern other than Mac? This is from Jim in the chat.
Maybe Roquan Smith. I was going to say the rookie Roquan Smith, the linebacker, came in late, reported late. He was the last draft pick, literally the last draft pick to sign this offseason. So is he going to come in a little bit slow, being A, a rookie, and B, not having practiced a bunch with the team?
I think his snaps will be limited, too.
They'll be limited, but my thing is with these guys that are players, Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, they're football players. At the end of it all, when you're on the field, your instincts can take over, and when you're young, your speed can sometimes make up for what you don't know mentally yet. So I think Roquan Smith could actually make a bigger impact in this game than we thought. Danny Trevathan, now those of you who are stout Packers fans remember his name. He was the one responsible for the hit that knocked Devontae Adams out of the first game last season at Lambeau Field, the one that he subsequently got fined for, and he's back. He could end up being a force and benefit from what kind of push they get up front. Akeem Hicks is still up front there, and the Bears have Leonard Floyd coming back. Floyd's on his.
I think Floyd's a big concern because of his speed, and especially when Khalil Mack's on the field.
He's made some plays against the Packers.
When you have to double Khalil Mack, which is going to happen, you're going to have to bring in a tight end to at least chip him. That means you're going to have Floyd on the other side of the field, and I would assume they would put Floyd up against Bulaga, and Bulaga had a hard time not too long ago with the speed of Floyd. So that is a big concern. So there are some real concerns that the Bears bring to the table because that defense is still really good. Regardless of how you feel about Mitch Trubisky and the Bears offense, that defense that they have was a top 10 defense last year, and they're going to be good again this year.
They also lost to Brett Hundley.
That's true.
At Soldier Field.
Which was awesome. Like one of the happiest moments last season.
That's one of those times when you look back to Mike McCarthy's line from many years ago where it says stats are for losers because games are won and lost on the field, and that's what Mercedes Lewis is here for. We talked about it earlier, using him to help in protection, and these are the types of things I think the Packers do to kind of keep that pass rush at bay. But listen, Aaron Rodgers this isn't his first rodeo. He's going to look to get the ball out quickly. He's going to be smart about what he's doing. It's the first week, so we're going to see some interesting things.
Right.
The first game always goes a little bit oddly. I don't think he's going to come out looking like he's in midseason form, but he's got enough savvy that he's going to do good enough things. And as long as we protect the ball, I think the Packers will be fine.
Matub hits us up with a really important Aaron Rodgers question on the chat. If Aaron Rodgers was a sandwich, what kind of cheese would be on it?
Havarti.
Havarti? I like Havarti. That's a good
Havarti.
cheese.
One of the best, most quality cheeses, especially when it's melted on a burger. Absolutely, Havarti. 100%.
I'm going to go with pepper jack because when you piss Rodgers off, he gets a little spicy.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah,
Nice.
That guy.
Nicely
you
done.
make him mad on the field. Everybody knows about it.
Nicely done. No, I agree. Great question there, Matub.
Love it. Bring some more. Yeah, bring more cheese questions.
For those of you who are fans at Cheesehead TV too, we've got the Pack a Day podcast series, and I shouldn't say series because it's an ongoing show, and we do one a day. So subscribe to that on iTunes if you haven't. It's Pack a Day, and it's several of our writers and Packers analysts and writers throughout the Packers blogosphere, and they bring the content every single day, and they do a fantastic job. So trust that they're going to be bringing it big during the regular season as well.
Yeah,
Matub is one of them.
Yeah, there's a lot going on at CheeseheadTV.com. Cheesehead TV Live is brought to you by CheeseheadTV.com. If you're not hanging out at CheeseheadTV.com this year, you're missing out. There's tons of great content. We have 3 live shows throughout the week with Railbird Central, Packers Transplants Live, and our show. We go on Wednesdays, so if you're looking for Packers Talk midweek, you can find a live Packers show from 2 guys right here in Arizona. And then we have the daily Pack a Day podcast, so plenty of content there. And then all the writing that goes on at CheeseheadTV.com. Cheesehead TV is loaded this season. Loaded.
And
don't forget content.
Don't forget, just recently we had the return of the Godfather. Aaron Nagler is back at Cheesehead TV after his stint working with Packers, covering them and doing their digital media, and it's awesome to have Aaron back in the fold. And Packers Transplants is also back, a great podcast and weekly show that you'll find on Wednesday nights just before Jeremy's and my show, Cheesehead TV Live. So it's going to be stacked on Wednesdays, and the content will be great. We'll have gut reactions. We'll be back at Cheesehead TV. My game balls and lame calls post will be up tomorrow, talking about who was the best and worst from today on the Packers side of things. So a lot of great things to welcome back and to look forward to.
All right, let's move on to defense.
Defense. They're down at 17. More pressure. Ball is out. Green Bay's got it. Daniels again.
All right, so the Green Bay Packers making some big changes this offseason with the defense. Firing Dom Capers. Give it up if you're excited that Dom Capers is no longer the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator.
The boos that you hear in the background are the 2 Bears fans in the room.
Yeah, where'd the third one go? Well, he's gone, so that's good. Maybe he'll stay away. He's the obnoxious one.
Listen, so there were a lot of people that said Mike Pettin. Everyone thinks it's a player. You know, what was the biggest acquisition the Packers made this offseason? Mike Pettin may have been it, Jeremy. I think that was an idea that I think you had too when we were talking about what it was. And it's easy to think of players and like, oh, Jimmy Graham, what he does for the offense. And on the defensive side, Muhammad Wilkerson's coming in to help provide some depth. But Mike Pettin's gonna do some good things for the Packers. One of the questions on the chat here was, where will the pass rush come from tonight? I'm as excited as anyone else to find out what the answer is there, because this is live. This is real football. We're not going to see the cupcake vanilla scheme anymore. They're going to be getting after Mitch Trubisky and looking to build up a nice lead so they can rest some starters and hopefully get into week 2 next week against the Vikings healthy and maybe not having showcased everything and save some for the guys in purple.
So we can break that down a little bit, though, because we know that the defense with Dom Capers was like, it was completely predicated on the talent of the outside linebackers, right? Like getting to the quarterback, that was the key position on the defense to make that happen. With Mike Pettin's defense, that is no longer the case. Mike Pettin will run multiple defenses. We'll see some 3-4. We'll see some 4-3. He's a guy who uses the players on his team and the skill set that they have to come up with what they're going to be best at, and he runs those things.
What a novel concept.
Right, exactly. So some of the things that we're going to see is him scheming guys to the quarterback versus depending on the talent of any one player. So we're going to see them trying to confuse offenses. That's going to be his primary goal, is to confuse offenses and create mismatches with the defense and be an attacking defense. This is not a let's see what the offense does and try to counteract. This is an attacking, punch you in the face defense that Mike Pettin brings to the table. Honestly, defensively, this is the most exciting time that it's been to be a Packers fan as far as the defense goes
since Capers came, and we didn't know.
Since Capers showed up.
And actually, he did do some good things the first couple of years, and then it started to decline after that. That's why everybody's panicking, though, about the outside linebacker position, is because we're used to those guys being the linchpin to getting pressure on the quarterback, and that's just not the case anymore. There's a lot of different things that the defense is going to do now. It's, you can't just say a pure 3-4 anymore. You can't say a 4-3. You can't just say nickel. There's going to be several different formations and lots of things that are going on. Now, Josh Jones is out, which is kind of a bummer because he was kind of that Swiss Army knife chess piece that they were going to use in the middle. Warren Burks is apparently active tonight, which is very impressive.
Actually, no, he's out. He's on the inactive list.
Okay,
so no Warren Burks.
So in the middle there, then you've got Blake Martinez and Antonio Morrison. Morrison was the Colts' leading tackler last year, so you trust that solid presence in the middle there. But some of your speed and versatility is gone.
Lacking. They're going to have some issues there at inside linebacker. So let's look at Mike Pettine's past as a defensive coordinator real quick, just to fill everyone in. Mike Pettine was the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets when Rex Ryan was the head coach. He was with the Buffalo Bills with Rex Ryan. He also was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And if you go back and you look at his rankings for defenses, his defense in 2009, first place overall. 2010, third place. 2011, fifth. 2012, eighth. 2013, 10th.
That's a lot of top 10.
Top 10 defenses as a coordinator. Now, as a head coach, struggled, but it was the Cleveland Browns. So we'll give him a pass on that. So as a defensive coordinator, Mike Pettine has had a history of top 10 defenses. Do you believe the Packers can have a top 10 defense this year?
I think so, but they have to stay healthy. They're going to get contributions from the rookies, and that's the thing that we saw that I was most encouraged by in the preseason was Josh Jackson, Jair Alexander both look good in pass coverage. They don't look like rookies who are lost out there. They're going to be able to do some things. Warren Burks, if he gets healthy and can come back, he looks a lot smarter and wiser than a rookie. So to get contributions from your top picks is one of the reasons why you do it. And then you bring in some solid depth there. Tramon Williams coming in to help the secondary. He's going to play a little bit of safety, a little bit of cornerback. Devon House is your break glass in case of emergency option at corner. That I think is going to be the big key.
Complete change at that position this year. Complete overhaul.
But up front, let's not forget, you still have Mike Daniels. Mike Daniels is not being talked about because everyone's talking about Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark is going to have a monster season this year and do really well if he stays healthy. He is primed for some serious improvement, and I think it could be a Pro Bowl season for him. Mo Wilkerson, Mike Daniels. Oh, and don't forget, you got Dean Lowry and Montrevious Adams rotating in there on the defensive line. That's a good problem to have.
The depth up front is what's going to create the most success for the Packers on defense. Actually, Gravedigger in the chat says he thinks Mo Wilkerson's going to have a surprisingly good game, like a sneaky good game. And I think he is too, because the guy, Mo Wilkerson, was a fantastic defensive end for the New York Jets. Coming to Green Bay, he had a bad year last year. He kind of gave up on the Jets, and I think that was his biggest issue. And that's something to be concerned about. But as long as the Packers are the Packers and they have Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be a competitive team. And I think that guy's going to show up ready to play and prove something.
Tag team match between you two and Nagler and Banky. Who wins? This is mostly for our Cheesehead TV fans that are listening. I
think
it's us.
I think it's Banky and Nagler, but it's not because of Nagler in any way. Banky, I feel like in a fight would be like a crazy little spider monkey kind of thing, and it would just, I don't know. I just feel it. Like
I'd probably get frustrated and grab a chair and get us DQ'd.
That would be it. Ring the bell.
Probably what would happen.
All right. So next question. A very important question also from Matub. If Kyler Fackrell was a sandwich, would it be full of sand and slightly damp? I don't think it'd be full of sand. I think that'd be kitty litter. And yes, it would be damp, and it wouldn't be water.
It would be a hot dog, because a hot dog is not a sandwich.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
He'd call himself a sandwich, but he'd be a hot dog. And no, it's not a sandwich. Is a cheeseburger a sandwich?
Cheeseburger, yes.
All right.
I have very specific, I have my own criteria, and there's some people that are going nuts at home right now arguing that a hot dog is, in fact, a sandwich. We'll have that debate. Was the dress black and blue or white and gold?
You know what? I don't even get that question. It was white and gold. What are we even talking about?
It was black and blue. It was very clearly black and blue, which is what the Bears will be at the end of the game tonight.
Yeah, black and blue. The Bears will be black and blue. So
kickoff is in 30 minutes. We are less than 1 hour away from Packers football.
So let's talk. Okay, go Bears. You know what? Hey, you see the pier out there? Go jump in the lake. Just go jump in. How does the Bears offense stack up against this defense?
Well, it depends on how Mitch Trubisky comes out and plays. He's he's going to improve in year 2. I like the head that he's got on his shoulders if I'm being objective here, but he's also the type of quarterback who's going to take chances.
Yep.
And against a good savvy defense like this and secondary, he's going to make some mistakes. So I'm looking for the Packers to score at least 1, but I'm thinking it's going to be closer to 2 interceptions tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, some turnovers.
Get that whole thing going on, because when the Packers defense was rolling, when they won their championship, they were one of the top defenses.
Yep.
There was turnovers coming in hand over fist.
All over the place.
They need that again tonight.
And I think that's what's going to happen this year. I think the Mike Pettin defense is really going to open that up. Something that the Packers have been missing for a while. I really think the turnovers there's going to be a spike in turnovers. It's going to be a huge change for the Green Bay Packers. Just watch for it. I agree. I think they get 2 or more. I think they're at 2 picks tonight or more. Because Mitch Trubisky is a young quarterback. We got somebody saying 3.
Wow.
Mitch Trubisky is a young quarterback. I think that Pettin's going to successfully create confusion for that Bears offense. Trubisky is going to struggle. Now, that's not to say Trubisky will never be good. I just think he struggles tonight on a defense that he has not had a chance to watch film on a defense that Mike Pettin has changed from the last time that he was a coordinator. Remember, Mike Pettin took a break from football, and while he was taking his time off from football, changed his scheme a bit. Nobody has seen what he's doing now.
Right.
Okay, so Trubisky doesn't know what the heck's coming. I would not be surprised to see them throw 2 or more picks. It would not shock me.
And I think the Packers are, like I said, they're going to be looking to start fast, get out to a big lead, make the Bears have to play catch up and throw. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, great show. He said basically if Mitch Trubisky has to throw the ball more than 25 times in this game, the Bears are probably going to lose. And I can see that being the case. Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, they're still going to try to run the ball, even though it's a stout defensive front for the Packers. But that's where I think the Bears are probably going to try to get creative, is get their playmakers the ball in space and see if the Packers can stop it.
So let's look at the wide receivers for the Bears real quick, because I think in years past we've seen some serious wide receivers in Chicago, but I don't think that's the case right now. Kevin White and Allen Robinson are going to be the top 2 guys there, I think, at receiver. Javon Wims had a good preseason, but as far as receiving threats, I think Trey Burton is going to be that number 1 guy for the Chicago Bears. But when I tell you those 3 names, I say Trey Burton, Kevin White, and Allen Robinson. Does that strike fear into your heart in any way?
It does, because Trey Burton's a tight end, and I'm still one of those scorned Packers fans who says they can't cover tight ends.
Without Oren Burks on the field, I agree. Without Oren Burks and without Josh Jones, because Josh Jones could have filled in on some of those Oren Burks coverage snaps.
This is where Morgan Burnett's loss might be big, because he was kind of that guy they called on to cover the tight ends, and that goes to Kentrell Bryce now, or maybe it's going to be Clinton Dix. Are they ready for the challenge? It's the middle of the field. Can they solve the middle of the field? Hopefully, new defensive coordinator,
right.
new trends.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that look for that tonight, because I think that seeing how they handle the middle of the field with a tight end is going to answer some questions on how different this defense is. Even without their coverage guys, I think they're going to look better than they ever did with Dom Capers. But I think of that group, Trey Burton is the one that's most concerning. Wide receiver-wise, I'm not sure with Allen Robinson coming back from the injury. I'm not sure how he's going to do for the Bears. I think the Bears tonight are really going to lean on the run game. That's going to be their key, is to try to get the run game going. But good luck against this Packers defense.
Well, and hopefully the defense is keyed on it and ready for it, but you've got to stay disciplined. I could see a lot of run to set up the pass, the play action. When you've got young defensive backs, as good as Josh Jackson and Jair Alexander looked in preseason, they were playing primarily against backups and guys that didn't make the rosters around the league. Can you catch one of them sleeping? And all it takes is 1 or 2 big plays to change the entire dynamic of a football game. The Packers can't be caught sleeping back there.
So we do have a question about screen passes. Do the Packers suffer against screen passes with Mike Pettin as their defensive coordinator? Is that something they're going to struggle with? I don't know, maybe. Like I said, nobody really knows what this defense is going to look like, because while he took his time off as a coordinator, he kind of rewrote some of the things that he does. And so I think we're all in for a treat and a surprise with what this defense is going to look like. I think the biggest concern the Packers have tonight going into this game against the Bears, like the biggest offensive threat they have, is actually Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
And that's a guy, so maybe on screen plays with Tariq Cohen, that's something that they're going to have to be concerned about, him getting the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield. Who?
Trey Burton, and we
Trey
talked about
Burton.
Burton. So
Totally.
we've got some.
It's Trey Burton and Tariq Cohen. I mean, but their weapons on offense, I think, are very limited. It's very limited.
Hey, and here's the thing. I saw a lot of screen passes this week. Unless you're sniffing it out as a defense, the screen is going to beat you once in a while. It's a matter of here's the biggest thing. Can this defense get off the field on third down? And regardless of whether it's third and short or third and long, can they get off the field? Are they going to be playing that soft, cushy little 7-yard zone where they're giving the receivers tons of room to work their routes, and they're just going to come up and be safe and tackle them? Or are they going to get aggressive and try to stop and try to play a little bit of press when they can and try to get some more pressure and limit those opportunities? That's where I think you're going to see some mistakes from Trubisky tonight is on those third downs when he's trying to make something happen.
All right, let's jump back to offense real quick because we do have a question in the chat. Jamon Moore not even dressing tonight is a joke. They're taking this trust crap way too far. That's from Cole. Do you think the trust crap has been taken way too far?
I don't know about that. I do know that he had some struggles. He couldn't catch the ball in practice and in games. He finally did catch a couple in the last 2 preseason games, but you got to trust the coaching staff here. They're
right
around these guys every day, and there could be other things that went into that decision beyond trust and what he did on the field. We don't know what conversations are being had behind closed doors. Hey, Le'Veon Bell didn't play today, and he might, I don't know, his job might be in jeopardy. That Steelers running back kind of ran all over the place.
Because even if he does show up, the trust between the coaching staff and that player
you never know.
is destroyed. So listen, the trust thing is important. I think it's more important than fans like to believe. And here's the other thing. I've been saying this on the Wednesday night show. With this group of rookie receivers, the most consistent rookie receiver that they have for this season will be Equanimeous St. Brown. I don't think he's going to be super flashy. He'll be consistent, and I'd rather have him active right now than Jamon Moore, who's shown to be inconsistent in the preseason. I don't want that guy active in game 1. Because can you put Jamon Moore out on the field right now and believe that he's actually going to catch a pass?
And then have him critically drop a third down or have a critical drop on third down. I'm going to go with Marquez Valdez-Scantling because I've been saying he's kind of that guy that was sandwiched in between EQ in the 6th round and Jamon Moore. I think he was in the 5th. And I like what I see from him. He's got that height, he's got the measurables, but he also had some trouble dropping the football. But he's not afraid to play. He's an excitable player, and those are the types of intangibles that I like to see in players. And so I've got MVS as kind of my guy that might emerge and sneak through on the offense and surprise all of us. It'd be a very good thing because if you're going to dress 2 rookies, I don't know how often you get to that point in the offense. You've got Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, Geronimo Allison, and then you've got Jimmy Graham and Mercedes Lewis before you even get to your 4th wide receiver.
And don't forget Ty Montgomery. He gets wide receiver snaps before some of these rookies.
And he's 88, so clearly he's a receiver. He's not a running back because he wears number 88.
It's a trick. It's a joke.
And we'll always mention it at least once a show because I know Andy Benoit listens to our podcast religiously every week.
Oh, I bet he does. I bet he's listening right now. Greg Digger says Jamon Moore reminds me of a young James Jones. I agree with that. The drops, he's got a lot of talent. The guy can figure it out. It has not been what it needed to be for him to be active tonight, and I think that's fine. I think that's fair. No, Jamon is not hurt, Bill asked on the chat.
No, that's the good problem the Packers have for the first time. And, throughout the season, injuries are going to happen, and it's going to become easier for Mike McCarthy. But he said earlier this week he's in a quandary because he's going to have to make some healthy scratches tonight for the first time in a long time. And he's actually got to kind of sit down and decide who presents the best options for our offense and our defense to get after what Chicago's going to do on both sides of the ball.
So we talked offense, we talked defense. We're going to get into our prediction. But before we do that, we have to talk a little special teams.
Special teams.
This to send the Packers into the NFC Championship game. It is good. The Packers are moving on. And Mason Crosby, a hero for Green Bay.
So we did talk a little bit about who's going to return kicks and who's going to return punts. And you brought up Valdez-Scantling as a receiver. How about Valdez-Scantling getting some of those returns?
As a kick returner, yeah, on kickoff. I could do it. Get the ball in his hands. Let's see what he can do with it.
The kid's electric. So, if he can figure out how to hang on to the ball and be consistent as a kick returner, that is where he can make a serious difference on this team.
Yeah, and Ty Montgomery does not have the durability to carry that load. As much as we want to see him with the ball, I wouldn't put him on special teams there, crashing into bodies like that.
Right.
He just does not have the ability to withstand that throughout the season, and I think it's inviting a problem with his health.
Can I just? I'm going to make a prediction for the first. It'll be the first within the first 3 weeks here. We'll see something. The Green Bay Packers find out how to succeed tonight in the return game, and they cut Trevor Davis by week 3. I think if you have an answer as for a returner, there's no need for Trevor Davis on this roster.
Yeah, and the other thing that does too is if you're going to try to stash one of the rookies on the practice squad, and obviously it sounds like if they're going to try to do that, it might be Jamon Moore. At this point, all teams have set their rosters. They've played a game. So now if you want to stash Moore on the practice squad and you subject him to waivers, teams aren't in a position to grab him like they might have been a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Right. I don't think they will. I think Moore's on the roster, and that's the way that it's going to be.
Big investment. 4th, 5th round pick is still a big investment, so to let him go this soon would be a big indictment on the pick.
So there was some interesting news in the offseason. The Packers drafted a punter, and they cut Vogel, who had a good season last year. But J.K. Scott, the punter from Alabama, kid's got like a cannon attached to his hip or something. He just sticks the ball in.
Is it like one of those T-shirt throwers at the games, at the baseball games?
The guy, listen, Vogel was good last year, and the Packers struggled with punters for a few years. Do you remember Frost? They had that kid Frost. There was another. It was bad. For a few years it was bad. Jacob Shum. They had some problems at punter, and they finally got Vogel, and it felt like, okay, they have an answer at punter. They never need to think about this again. And then they drafted one, and we were all like, that's weird. But listen, J.K. Scott is a difference maker as a punter because the guy is going to flip the field. We're going to see him flip the field in a way that makes a big difference in a game, and it could happen tonight. J.K. Scott, I think, was a good draft pick. I
think so, too. And it may not be. I don't know what it's going to look like in the cooler months, but while the weather is nice, don't be surprised if you see him booming one at least 60 yards once a game. That's just the type of leg that he has. They cut Jeremy. What was this?
Justin Vogel?
Vogel, Justin.
Justin Vogel.
They cut Justin Vogel.
How little do punters matter?
after one, I wanted to say Kapanos, and that's like from,
Forever.
That's like 10 years ago.
Jeremy
get
Kapanos,
get with the program,
There
Jason.
you go. That was what I was trying to think of his name.
Kapanos, and then he ended up punting against the Packers in the Super Bowl, and he lost, so never do that. But, no, after one day, they cut Vogel, and they were going with J.K. Scott, and Scott was drafted for a reason, and he was, call it what you will, the Packers had some extra draft picks to play with, and I think they made a wise choice there because you saw it today. There was a couple big kicks, and the field got flipped in field position. It's a sneaky thing we don't think about that the Packers need to improve on. I think they did getting a punter like that. And then you've got Hunter Bradley was kept over, was it Trenier? Trenier.
I was actually surprised because he had a better preseason. So, I mean, Brett Good's still out there. Right? So, he can still come in and save the day, right? So if they need a long snapper, they can find one.
So if the snap situation is a disaster tonight, if you're excited about checking the waiver wire and you like that Monday action on Twitter and look for the announcement that Brett Good is back. He's been re-signed for the 50th time to the Packers roster.
Okay, so let's not spend any more time on that. We are going to get to our predictions here in a moment. But before we do predictions, I feel like here at the Watershed, we need to get a Go Pack Go chant going. All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Go Pack Go! Go Pack Go! Go Pack Go! Go Pack Go! Very good. I love it. I'm so excited for tonight. It's been a long time coming. Football is here. We're moments away from real Green Bay Packers football. We've all been waiting. The wait is over. We're going to see Aaron Rodgers taking snaps and slinging it. It's time.
Against the Chicago Bears, who refer to Aaron Rodgers as Dad.
All right. So let's get to the prediction. What's your prediction? How's tonight's game go?
It goes very well. I've got a score of 34-17 lingering in my mind. I don't know if the Packers get up to a big lead. I could see this one kind of being back and forth the first half of the game, but Green Bay makes some adjustments, comes out, and we see how different they're actually going to be this year. Their defense takes over and learns how to close out a game, and Chicago's just too far behind to make it up at the end. So big Packers win to start the season 1-0.
I agree. The Bears, listen, the Bears just aren't ready to compete with a team like the Green Bay Packers consistently, okay? It's opening night in Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers should roll tonight. It's going to be 31-17 Packers. And you know what? A lot of people like that 17 number for the Bears. I keep seeing that. Like, for some reason, 17 sticks out for the Bears. 31-17 Packers. I think they roll. It's a fun night. It's a good night. And you know what? Listen, Bears fans, don't be sad. You have some positive things happening. It's just not your time yet. Wait a year or two. Okay, just take your time, be patient, and then when it all falls apart, we'll be here to laugh at you.
Now, Jersey Al has to always be a little bit different. He's coming in at 31-16.
Yeah, you can't.
1 point difference. But hey, it could make all the difference in the world if it's Vegas.
One last question because I like it.
Okay.
Which rookie makes the biggest impact tonight?
I think it could be J.K. Scott.
You think it'd be J.K. Scott?
I think it could. That's
he
your
really
field,
could in
that's
a
your
key
field,
moment.
That's your field position right there. The rookie wide receivers, I don't think are going to play much. And I could have gone with one of the corners because they are going to play quite a bit. And Josh Jackson just seems to be,
That's my guy. That right
you
there.
know, the 3/4 of the world is covered by water, and the rest is covered by Josh Jackson.
We said 2 picks for the defense. Josh Jackson's going to have 1.
At least 2.
He said 3. How many is Josh Jackson going to have? 2. 2 for Josh Jackson.
Wow.
Josh Jackson is going to find the football
Welcome to the
tonight.
NFL, Mr. Jackson.
He's going to find the football tonight. Don't be surprised if he finds the end zone. That's it for us here at the Watershed. Thank you so much for listening online. Thank you so much for joining us. What's that? 41-13 Packers. Big win. Packers roll. People here at the Watershed are very excited. Thank you so much for coming to the Watershed. Thank you, Jason, for joining me to do this once again this year.
And don't forget, if you want to go to a game, you want to go see the Packers, get over to theticketking.com, check out your ticket options, especially if you're going to Lambeau Field. You cannot buy tickets. They do not exist.
Right.
So you must go to theticketking.com to get your tickets for any event, but especially Packers games and football games this season. Looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody at Cheesehead TV for listening to us. This has been Cheesehead TV Live.
The Bears still suck.
Thank you for listening to Cheesehead TV Live. Check out CheeseheadTV.com for more great Packers content.